Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Keto Simple. My name is Dustin. I'm so glad you're here. This stream will be starting soon, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and settle in. We're building a strong and supportive community, so say hello in the chat, ask questions, and feel free to use super chats if there's anything that you want to see highlighted. Thank you for being here and being a part of this journey. Let's keep it positive and respectful as we connect and grow together. I can't wait to get started. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. You have your coffee? Are you ready for this? All right. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness. We got a lot to talk about today. Maybe. We'll see how the chat goes. Oh, I hope you have your coffee. I hope you have a nice, comfy place to be sitting, because we're going to be talking for a while. Evelyn's here for an hour ago. She says, welcome. Good morning, friends. Jerry is here. Good morning, Jerry. She says, happy Sunday to Dustin and the gang. I have keto brains in my coffee cup today. Can you believe it? It's the fourth day I think I've had keto brains in my coffee. I don't know if I'm noticing much of a difference or much of a flavor difference, because I'm still putting the butter in my coffee. I'm still putting heavy cream in my coffee with a big scoop of keto brains. I don't know if I'm noticing any real differences, but with that, let's take a moment here and have a nice sip of coffee, because this is what this is all about. Sunday morning coffee with me and all of you wonderful people. Yes. My desk is a mess. Oh, my goodness gracious, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, Eva Lynn here says, hello, Dustin, Jerry, Carrie, but it looks like Carrie's comment from yesterday disappeared. I don't know why it does that, but hey, we're here. We're here, and Brian is here. He says, good morning to everyone. Bacon Baby is in the house. Good morning, Dustin. Hello, Dustin. Hello, everyone. Sean Bradley, my good friend Sean, is here. He says, good morning, all. I hope you and Shell are doing fantastic today, my friend. Brian Doyle is in the house. How you doing, Brian? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah. Andy is here. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Susan. I hope you're all... I can't even do it with a straight face. Sometimes I can, and sometimes I just cannot. I cannot do it with a straight face, and my beard is looking kind of ratty today. I'm going to get these rats out. Oh, I do keep a brush right here just in case. I don't even have the rest of my lights on. What am I doing today? What am I doing? I'm not even prepared. Hundreds of these, and I still can't seem to get my act together. Can you believe it? I can. But Andy said, woke up 5 minutes ago. Hello, everyone. Hello. John Gugahan is in the house. Our good friend, John. Good morning, all. I'm a bit under the weather today, so I'll be watching church online. Well, that's wonderful. It is nice to be able to do that, so you don't always have to leave the house, because I'm not a big fan of leaving the house unless I absolutely have to. But Stacy's here. Her and Ken are here. Good morning, Sunday peeps. Wishing everyone healthy and happiness. A little bit of health and happiness. And Brenda Foley is in the house. And Rick says his power is off. Oh, that sucks. It's probably like 9,000 degrees in your house. I hope things are a little bit better. I hope things get better for you, my friend, because it's about 1,000,000 degrees where you are. Speaking of which, okay, check this out. So Friday or Thursday night, we were tucked into bed, Shannon and I, getting ready to go to bed, and I started smelling something, and I'm like, I don't know I don't know what is that. It smells like food. So we text the kids, hey, you guys cooking food downstairs? Because they don't normally cook. They microwave, they get fast food, they use the air fryer, but they don't really ever cook. And they're like, yeah, we're making burgers. And I'm like, okay, all right. The next day, it's 90 degrees outside, and we noticed that it was a little warmer in the house than normal, but not by a whole lot, but just enough to be like, well, maybe things are having a little trouble keeping up, right? Friday night, it's about 10 o'clock. We're getting ready to head to bed. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that, get ready to head to bed. And our cat's out on the back window yowling because he wants to be back in the house. He lives outside. But he has food and water and everything he needs. We keep the garage cracked so he can get in and out. He can do whatever he wants. He can come and go and do as he pleases. And he just sounds like he's in the living room with us. And I'm get stuff put together, putting food away, doing things, getting ready to go upstairs to go to bed. And Shannon realizes that the back windows are open and the front window is open. The boys had opened the windows, and the windows were open all day long. Luckily, I guess because we have like those blackout curtains in our living room and front room and everything. So, some light comes in, obviously, but I'm guessing that kind of kept some of the heat at bay. But you could tell it was like, so Shander was like, okay, boys, you guys are going to pay the difference for the electric bill for this month. That's like, oh my goodness. Because I don't open the windows unless it's wintertime or like, it's cool outside. It has to be cooler outside than inside for me to open the windows. Sean says, y'all ready for this? No, 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 no. Good job. I don't know what's happening. What's good job? I don't know what's going on. Jerry says keto brains did nothing for me either. I don't know. Really, I'm adding a lot of butter to my coffee and heavy cream, and there's plenty of fat. I know there's L-theanine in this, and there's different things, but I don't know what the long term is. Like, do you need to take it for a long time before you notice anything? But we'll see. We'll use it till the bag is empty, and we'll make a decision. I don't even know how much it costs. Let's take a look. I don't even know how much Keto Brains costs. Get the best ketogenic creamer out there. Yeah. So a Keto Brains nootropic creamer. You can get 20% off your first purchase, but it's $55 a bag, or you can get 3 bags for $156. I don't know that's like, I don't know, like, because how many servings in a bag? 30 servings. So you're paying like $1 a serving almost. And so that's $2 a day for our house. Oh man, I don't know. We're not even paying that for the coffee and the heavy cream and the butter, I don't think. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I know some of you guys truly, truly love this stuff, and some of you, I don't know, may have tried it and don't care much for it, but you know. Karen is here, low carb spin. Good morning, Dustin. Evelyn, Jerry, Andy, Sean, Rick. Oh, yeah. And Stacy says no keto brains for her either. Patricia Hoffman is in the house. Good morning, Patricia. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that very much. We're here, me and the puppies. Well, hello, puppies. Mr. Gugahan says, I have a Texas Roadhouse gift card and was planning on getting a nice steak later, but I don't even know if I would be able to taste it with this nasty congestion, so I am not going to go try. I understand that. And Jerry is baking for hubby, so listening as I keto-fy a no sugar sweet treat. Yeah. Amy. Good morning, Dustin and everyone. Well, welcome, Amy. Thank you for being here, dear. Oh, Brenda says keto brains. I didn't know it was working until I ran out for a few days. Ordered a monthly subscription with my HSA. Oh, that's pretty fantastic. Oh yeah, happy baking to Jerry. Jerry says, pardon my being in the background if I don't reply in a timely manner. That's okay. I'm going to wait until you have your hands all greasy and covered in whatever you're baking to be like, Jerry, hey, Jerry. Rick says, I got the generator started. Well, see, you got everything you need. You got a cat, you got a generator, you probably got a dead iguana somewhere. I mean, you're living the life that you want to live, Rick. And I'm glad. You know, Rick is living Rick's best life. Yeah, and John says, very soothing watching you brush your beard. You should do an ASMR where you do nothing but brush your beard. I'll tell you what, the ASMR stuff, because as I'm kind of flipping through like YouTube shorts and stuff, and sometimes it'll show me the lives, and I'll click on the lives, and there's people that are always doing like this, or like they're like, and I'm like, stop. I don't know. There's something not that I know that there's something about like today's generation that loves that ASMR stuff and they love those noises. And you can't see a product review video, but like, I've got this new awesome cup and it's a great cup and you should love this cup too. And I'm like, stop. What do you think about it? I don't know. It's just gets under my skin. I don't know. Maybe there's just a difference and all that. But Booby Goats is here. Aaron, our dear friend Aaron, is here. Good morning. I hope you and all the goats are fine. Your gaggle of children. Yeah, and Evelyn is saying, I hope you feel better, John. Me too. I hope you're all having a great, wonderful day and you're feeling good. Oh, Andy says, great job on keto brains and your coffee, silly boy. Hey, you know. Jerry gifted it to me, and we just been sitting in the closet for a while. And I figured, might as well try it. We'll see how it goes. I'm a simple person. I like butter and cream in my coffee, and that's it. I'm a very simple man. Simple pleasures. And Andy says that she gets the 3-bag bundle. I haven't bought it in a while. It's expensive. Oh my goodness. Because we'd be using 2 bags a month. In theory, right? So we would both be using a bag a month between the two of us. That's crazy. And Shannon doesn't even really notice a difference because they put it in her coffee and she just like, I don't even taste a difference. And I'm like, I don't even know. Evelyn says, I'm missing my keto brains today, but I did win a free keto brains from Coach Bronson and Coach Nat last Saturday, and it came Friday. Well, I kind of figured because I was so tired last week that I had come on to their podcast, and I even kind of was like, what if we fall asleep? They were like, what? I was like, well, I was up all night because, whenever I do something at night on a Saturday and I come home, I have to be quiet so I don't wake Chandra up. And you know how it is, right? You don't want to wake your spouse up. So I stay downstairs, basically stay awake. So I know that I'm not going to I don't want to be like, not have her stuff together and stuff ready when she comes downstairs, And so it means I'm awake all night. Then I wait till after this stream and then I hang out with them for a little bit. Then I take a nap. So, I didn't want it to feel like I would think they were boring. I was just, up all night. Rick goes, oh, dead iguana. You know how I feel. Jackie, realtor in Indiana. Hello, I'm here. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so very much. I'm listening, but won't be able to keep an eye on the chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Fantastic. Thank you for being here. Another Indiana person, because I'm in Indiana. I'm in central Indiana towards Brownsburg. And I'm not sure where they are a realtor, but I imagine they'll chime in eventually if they're listening. If they're listening. And everyone's saying good morning to Jackie. So yeah, um, I wanted to talk about identity versus labels today. So, and I mean, I know it's easy to do. So we like to label ourselves carnivore, keto, ketovore. I'm this, I'm that. But I don't think we really should be. I don't think that should be our identity. I know it goes into our handles. It goes into, like my name is Keto Simple. You know what I mean? I mean, it's part of a online identity, so to speak. But how deep does it go? How deep does your carnivore go? How deep does your keto go? How much of you does that make up? I know that for me, it's difficult to be in a public setting around people who are talking about their health. It's very difficult for me not to bring up keto. I try my best because nobody wants to hear it unless they do. But I try not to let keto be who I am, so to speak. And it's a delicate thing to talk about because I know that a lot of times we wear that badge. We do wear that, I'm carnivore or I'm, whatever it is, and we wear it and we wear it proudly because I mean it is something that we work very hard to achieve. We try to live a good, clean lifestyle, because we're trying to regain our health, we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to do whatever it is that we're here in this community for. But I often wonder, like, how much does that impact our actual personalities? Are we who we were before? Are we different now with our personalities? And I know that health can change personality, health can change mood, health can change our outlook on things. If you were not healthy before, your outlook may have been very poor. You may have had a very negative outlook on life. You find keto, carnivore, and then that outlook can change. And that's understandable because as our health improves, our outlook will improve as well, right? So we understand, but I just kind of wonder across the spectrum, across the gambit of YouTube, across all of social media, we see a lot of people identifying themselves as carnivore, keto, all these things. But how deep does that run? Is it just a handle that we've chosen to be identified on social media? How does that impact the rest of our life? Are we really going in depth with people? How is that? What does that look like for everybody? And those are just questions that I have, and I wanted to talk about today just because I don't think we should necessarily be married to one idea. And I say that as somebody who has been keto since 2016, but the idea of what keto is to me has changed time and time again. So, and I've talked about this before, but the idea of what keto was for me in 2016 versus what keto is to me halfway through 2025 are vastly, vastly different things, right? So, how how married are we to our ideas? How deep does our keto or carnivore impact our idea, our identity, our ideology? The importance of growing, learning, and staying flexible in all of that, because what works for us today may not work for us in 2 weeks or 6 months. As some of us may hit stalls and then we have to recalculate and reformulate what we're doing, change things, whether we're doing, triple B&E or dirty keto or whatever, lazy keto, however you decide to look at what you do with your lifestyle. So These are all questions that I like to ask. Um, and and then we'll get into some other things because I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about being at the grocery store the other day. Let's take a look. Rick says, "Looks like the power's back on. Might have to flip the disconnect and turn off the generator." Okay, okay. Oh, Jackie says, "I said I was listening." Well, yeah, yeah, I understood that. Yeah. So they're in South Bend. Let's see. I live in Walkerton, but moving to Niles the next couple of weeks. Okay. I know South Bend, but I don't know South Bend. I've been to South Bend, but I don't know all of the intricacies because I live a couple of hours away from there. So yeah. But welcome. I'm glad to know that there's somebody else in Indiana. Truly appreciate that. Sean says, with more labels comes more separation. I like to be included, so I don't label anything. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hinting at. What I'm trying to get to is with carnivore. I think carnivores typically want to stick around with other carnivores. They don't really want to talk with keto people. And when you go into like carnivore lives, which I do whenever I go into a lot of different carnivore lives, whether it's Rick's or Carnivore Talk or Carrie Mann, or because there's loads and loads of carnivore talks, carnivore chats, and carnivore lives, and different carnivore creators. So I go in because I see myself as a part of the community as a whole, not just carnivore, not just keto. And I think that that's a difficult concept for some people to kind of embrace is, well, I eat primarily carnivore, but why is this keto person here? Why does this keto person, why are they in the chat? They're keto, not carnivore. But we're all here together. And Evelyn says, and when someone asks one question about keto, I feel as though it all comes out and I can't shut up. That's exactly how I am, right? And Charlie says, still INTJ on carnivore. I'm not sure what. Refresh me on what that means because I'm not. Maybe if that was spelled wrong, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not knowing what's going on there, buddy. Jackie says it's different. It's difficult when you have three family members with heart issues, and the doctors are telling them to lower your fat intake. You'd only eat meats, no salt, and I end up preaching. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like they know, but they don't know, but they can't say anything. It's just so frustrating. Good morning, Aaron. Just sent you an email. Oh yeah. And Sean says, I feel your pain, Jackie. I had a heart attack back in 2022. Everyone thinks I'm crazy for eating the way I do, even my doctor. Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be that way for a long time. We've got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do because we've got a lot of ground to cover because it's so much dogma, so much retro. So I mean we've been given the same information for the last 60, 70, 80 years. So it's going to take a long time to kind of backpedal and relearn as a society. Amy says, I'm right by you, Jackie. I'm in Mishawaka. Yeah, and Jackie says technically carnivore is keto. That point, that made that point a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a lot of people just don't realize that. So, I mean, it's all really under the proper human diet umbrella, in my opinion. Whether it's keto, carnivore, because I mean, a ketogenic diet, carnivores aren't always in a ketogenic state. Depending on how much meat they're eating and such, but we're not. But they're still able to process and make ketones, whether or not they're in a ketogenic state, like like a strict ketogenic person might be. But I still think it's all cyclical. I still think it's all normal. So That's the thing is people go, well, keto, they eat plants and plants are poison. Plants trying to kill us. But I don't necessarily think that that's true. I don't necessarily think it's wrong. I think it's all a matter of how much are we eating, why are we eating it, who are we? Because we have to remember, and some people may not like this idea, but there's a lot of different substrates of human, or not even human. There's Neanderthal and all these things that have kind of melded into us over the millions of years we've been on this planet. And there's been many different types of humanoid, human people that have kind of come in together to be human. And from what I understand, and I may be wrong on some of that, but I imagine it's a lot of that melting together over the millennia, millions of years. And so I imagine we're all, because I mean, yeah, we may all be human now. That doesn't mean we're all the same human. Does that make sense? And I think that some of us are probably a little more prone to needing plants. Some of us not. Some of us more prone to not needing plants at all. So I think that's where this a spectrum of proper human diet is concerned. And I personally think, I mean, if we could get, and I talked about this last week or the week before, if we could get the general population to significantly cut back on the amount of processed foods, sugar, sodas, and all the things like that, even getting into just a whole food diet, that's potatoes and rice and whatever, right? If we could just get people eating potatoes, leafy greens, more meats, eggs, more animal fats, and away from processed food, I think we would be significantly healthier, because I know that that's what we ate for thousands of years. We ate potatoes. We ate all that stuff. And I mean, predominantly we would, everybody wants meat, but there's been times in our human history where we didn't have meat. Meat was scarce depending on where you lived. So we have to make do with what we can. But I mean, in a situation like where we are now, where, yeah, meat is more expensive than other things, we just have to make sacrifices. And I know that's easier said than done for some people. But I mean, right now at Walmart, my Walmart, you can get pounds of hot dogs. Oscar Mayer, are they the cleanest? No. Are they the best? No. But are they the worst? Not by far. They're in the upper. They're not all beef, but they're meat, and they're $2.50 a pound. That's really cheap. I mean, long gone are the days of getting chicken thighs for 99 cents a pound, 79 cents a pound, 80 cents a pound, 69 cents a pound. That's gone for right now. So we have to do what we have to do. Chicken thighs would be a much better option. But what can we do to get more meat into our diet with the budgets that we have? Not everybody's going to have, grass-fed, grass-finished ribeye at $25 a pound. Not everybody has $25 a day to spend on meat. As much as we'd like to think, well, if you didn't buy a latte, well, that latte's $4. You remove the $4, that still doesn't give you $25. You know what I mean? So I just say we got to do what we can, spread as much positivity as we can around this lifestyle, not be married to our ideas, make sure we're helping all of our people. Carnivore Talk is in the house. Good morning from Northeast Ohio. Welcome, Mr. Carnivore Talk. I am glad to see you here. I was on their show 2 weeks ago, and I met Lexus, and Rick was on, and I met a couple other people, but my memory is not as one it once was, and I can't remember all their names. But it was a fantastic talk. If you want to go back and look at that, it's awesome. And Jackie says, that's cool, Amy. I'm doing an open house in Mishawaka today. That's awesome. Brian says, now that I'm using Monjourno, I guess I'm none of the keto and none of the keto. I would not say that, because are you still eating a ketogenic lifestyle? Are you still eating low carb? What are you doing, Brian? Are you taking Monjourno and then eating Oreos? What's happening? I don't think that that's what you would do. So I would say you're still here, and you're welcome here no matter what, because we have to understand that everybody's journey looks different. Not everybody is going to take Monjourno or what are the other brands are out there. That's not necessarily what all of us are going to do. But if that's the path you take, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you, no matter what. Because without community, who are we? Without community, what's the point in even trying? And I want you all to try and better yourselves, whatever that looks like. If Brian wakes up tomorrow and goes, you know what, I'm tired of this Monjourno, I want to do Weight Watchers. Cool. Come hang out with us. Talk about it. Tell us about what's happening. How, what is your successes looking like? And I remember I had a lady that I worked with, and she would say that she was on Weight Watchers and she knew how to manipulate her points. So she would every night have enough points to eat a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't really think that that's what the idea of the points is for. That's like when you're dealing with keto and you want to have 25 total carbs and you get to the end of the day and you have like 20 total carbs left. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to eat this whatever because it's 19 total carbs, whatever. Is that really what we should be doing? I don't necessarily know. But, just because you're on Monjourno or whatever doesn't mean you don't belong here, Brian. Never for a second think that you're not welcome here. You are always welcome with any chat that I'm in. It does not matter what chat it is. You're here. You're a friend of mine, and we're here together. Guga Hands says, time for more coffee. All right. Oh, yeah. Bob is his name. I'm sorry. Yeah. Brian said, good morning, Bob, Carnivore Talk. There's so many people that I run across, and it's like I try to remember everybody's name. Usually takes me a couple of times to remember. So don't hold it against me. And Sean said, that's exactly it, Bacon Baby. I feel great, and my numbers are good, so they can't say too much, well, except cholesterol. Well, Oh, personality type. Okay. Look at that. Rick says, I'm trying to respond to the flood of emails I got since yesterday. Okay. And Booby Goat says, plants are trying to kill me. Some of us, they might be. Some of us, I doubt. I mean, I just think that we're all built different. And I used to think that was kind of an excuse. Like, oh, I'm built different. Well, I mean, realistically, the more I understand about human evolution and human origins, and we crossbred with Neanderthals way back when, and there's been other types of humanoids that we've kind of inter species and all that stuff. Like I said, there's some of you out there who will disagree with me, and that's not part of how you recognize history, and I understand. But I mean, this is not necessarily here for a history lesson as much as it is as I think what's how we've evolved and how and where we've come from. I think we are all a little different. But Brian says, finally losing weight and feeling great, no side effects. Well, I hope that the no side effects sticks around because I've heard of some pretty nasty ones. So I keep my fingers crossed for you, my friend. And oh my goodness, Guinea Pig's in the house. Good morning, Guinea Pig. Brian is in the house. Good morning, Brian. And where there's Brian, I imagine Cindy's not too far away. And Aaron says, Brian, don't tell people. Brenda Foley says, sorry, outside the box, I started wearing a CGM, bought some no sugar added peanut butter, 1 tablespoon, shot my insulin up, wouldn't have imagined it. So it shot up your glucose response on your CGM. Okay. So now you know. That's a wonderful tool to play around with. All right. Evelyn says the INTJ personality type also characterized by introversion. Let me see if I can make this bigger for myself. I'm blind today. Characterized by introversion, intuition, thinking, and judging, are known for their strategic thinking and analytical abilities and independent nature. Okay, I understand. And Bob is saying, eat what God, nature provides, not what man invented. I still think that there's still some nuance here. There's definitely still some nuance here because, you know, even still, like, there's, and I'm not to say because we've made things that doesn't necessarily mean it's all overly processed stuff. Like, I mean, like look at coffee. Nature put beans out there. How we decided to roast them and then filter water through them to get something to drink that we love. That's a man-made kind of invention. So we have to look at it that way as well. So yeah, they put the beans were there, but those were inside of a berry. We got them out of the berries, dried them, roasted them, and then ground them up and then put water through them. The same thing with tea. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that humans have really cultivated and changed from the way they were that has a huge impact to our daily lives. Now, think about it like this with fire and all that. So I think we have to really, like, you know, whether it's, you know, meatloaf or whatever, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that have been made that aren't necessarily all that awful. But, you know, I think we have to, it's a lot of nuance. There's so much nuance out there that I think it's not as black and white, cut and dry as we would like it to be. And again, that's probably not a popular take, but that's the one that I have currently. And I will probably change my take on things a lot in the future because I'm always learning and evolving and finding out new information. Yeah, and Brian said that's Brenda. That's what the CGM is good for, to find out what affects you individually. Yeah, because a lot of us may not even realize things that maybe zero carbohydrates are impacting us the most. Think about all those zero carb tortillas and things that are on the market. We think, well, there's zero carbs. Yeah, well, I mean, you eat 8 of them. That's not zero carbs. That's, you know, that's 200 grams or whatever of total carbs that you just put down today. You know what I mean? So just because it says zero carbs doesn't necessarily mean it's truly zero carbs. Just like we have to make all that kind of, we have to really understand all of that. Let's see. Karen says, "Good morning from Iowa. Just celebrated 50th class reunion. Oh my goodness, congratulations. I haven't gone to any of my class reunions, not the 10th, the 20th, the 25th. I think we're coming up on the 30th sometime soon. I graduated in 1998, so 2028, I think, will be the 30th on that one. Maybe I'll go. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really in contact with a lot of people from high school, so is it worth it? I don't know. Aaron says, "Preach," and I'm like, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Here we are. That a little insight into me. Let's see. Karen says to Brenda, on the CGM note, is it bad if you go into the 50s at night? Is it too low? I think if it was too low, I don't think that that's necessarily an issue. If you are fat adapted, then your body will just do what it does, right? I mean, if your blood sugar gets that low, that's where gluconeogenesis would come into play. That's where your body would go, I don't have enough glucose, so I'm going to make some. So maybe that's what we're supposed to do at night. I don't think we're supposed to be at 100 at night. I think maybe that might be what we're supposed to do, but we don't know for sure because humans have amnesia, historical amnesia. We can't keep things, like we don't even know what happened 100 years ago. Really, truly, we can't. We don't know. Feral grandma's in the house. Good morning. I'm glad to see you. Brian says, still under 20 carbs a day, mostly meat with some nuts and a little yogurt. Yeah. So I would consider you just fine, my friend. You're still keto to me. Charlie says, Brian, I got the custom eat beef. The West wasn't one on salad cutting board in the mail yesterday. That's amazing. I love that. Amy says, I'm eating carnivore right now to try and get more energy. I'm exhausted all the time. Yeah. When was have you ever gone to get all your labs running on your at onyourlabs.com, or is it on your labs? Is that what Dave Feldman has? I'm not sure, but somebody will tell me because I'm sure somebody knows. Where they make these bottles of water so small. Ugh. So tiny. Sean says, I just heard that Weight Watchers filed for bankruptcy. Well, that's sad. I don't ever want any companies to really go under. I still think they have a good service. I mean, are they the best service? No. But I mean, they're still helping people try to lose weight. It may not be the most ethical way, but it's something, right? Evelyn says, my dad used to totally make his blood sugars plummet so that he could eat a candy bar. Oh, my goodness. I remember being in the grocery stores after work, and I would go to work, get off work. I would go visit my mom in the nursing home, and then I would have to go to the store, usually get stuff for dinner that night, then go home and make dinner. And I got off work at like 6. By the time I got off work and got on our side of the town, it was almost 7. So I visited with my mom for about a half an hour. 7:30, drove to the store. 8 o'clock, got home, got dinner made. It was almost 9 o'clock. Usually it was late, always late. Never enough time to get it all done, right? But I remember I would be at the grocery store and I would be, if you've ever been like a heavy diabetic, I never was diagnosed with diabetes, but I mean, because I just didn't go to the doctor. But I was over 400 pounds. So one would, with the magical power of deduction, the idea that I was a diabetic, and I knew what the low felt like. Oh, I'm getting low. I'm getting kind of woozy. Better buy 2 candy bars. Need them on my way. Of course, that's what I would do. Yeah, and Sean says, loving it. Doing the Brian diet. Do. Yeah. And John Gugahan says, I'm in a chocolate kind of mood this morning. Just made some crazy cups death by chocolate coffee. Added some perfect keto chocolate nootropics and some heavy cream. I can taste it, but it's probably a lot stronger than I can taste, but it's so good. All right. Yeah. And Jackie says, no peanut butter for you, Brenda, but maybe go to an Amish store. You could even try, if you have a Fresh Time around. Fresh Time, you can get they'll have a thing where you can fresh grind your peanuts into peanut butter right there into a container, and you just buy it by the pound. That's all right. It's not bad. And if you kind of keep it upside down in the refrigerator, it keeps it from separating. Rick says all raw seeds are toxic. I don't even necessarily think that that's true because we've lived on them. We've survived on them over the centuries. I think in the quantities that we have them today, if you're throwing back 2 cups of raw whatever, probably. But I don't think back then they just sustained us. I don't necessarily think that everything, I think the toxicity of things is really dependent on the amount that we're taking in. And I mean, because if you understand, water can be toxic. If you drink 4 gallons of water in a day, you probably get some kind of water toxicity. So, I mean, we just gotta have to understand that a little bit. I think blanket statements along the lines of like all seeds are toxic. I don't necessarily think that's true. Like, are apple seeds not good for us? No. Pumpkin seeds, probably okay. You know what I mean? Like sunflower seeds, probably fine. But I mean, are you going to eat enough for it to be that big of a deal? Probably not, unless you were getting the shelled pumpkin seeds and eating them by the cup. I don't know. Like, it's hard to make a blanket statement like that. I just don't think it's good for us to do that because it sets a bad precedent for those who are trying to do better with themselves. And we're trying to get more people to come in and join us. And we're trying to get more people to consider a healthier lifestyle. I think that it's like, if we come in and go, well, you can't eat broccoli, broccoli's trying to murder you. I just think that just sounds crazy. People are like, okay, next. And Sean says, still wondering who thought it would be a good idea to pick up those coffee beans. Let's see. Pick up those coffee beans that those cats defecate and turn into. Well, it's not just cats, it's all kinds of animals. I don't know. I mean, I figure if those were like the only coffee beans you had left and you're like, oh, our coffee beans. Well, rinse them off first. Then, oh, this is some really good coffee. It was probably by accident. It's probably by accident. See, Rick asked the weird questions. See, Rick's here to ask weird questions of why would anybody want to eat a tortilla? Because they're delicious, Rick. Because they go good with fajitas and tacos and quesadillas and they taste delicious. So we have to understand who Rick is. Rick likes iguanas, ducks, and his best friend's a kitty cat. But we love Rick, but we have to understand that Rick is on a Rick diet. He calls it the heart attack Rick diet. And he thinks pizza's disgusting. So now I've had arguments with him about this or discussions about this with him over the last couple of months. Is pizza disgusting? No, it's delicious, because if it wasn't delicious, we wouldn't have so many problems with it. But anyway, I digress. And he says, because of this discussion, I realized my keto brains was low, so I ordered more, used the HSA option, make me happy to have that option. Fantastic. I love it. Rise Biscuit says, supper. And Bob says, I'm currently drinking tea. I understand the nuance, and I was speaking in generalities and simplicity. I see tea leaves as natural, but not as a candy bar. I understand that too. I think even candy bars back in the day were not necessarily so unnatural. I mean, they had chocolate, some caramel, some peanuts. You put it together, and it's, I think it's all a matter of convenience and what we've done to profit margins and how do we make this food cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, really to beat inflation. And I think that's kind of what's really got us. I mean, we used to eat biscuits and we used to eat gravy and we used to eat all these things, and we were healthy back in the 1800s, 1900s, until we started doing things as cheap as possible. I think that's really what it comes down to. And I think, most of us who are metabolically deranged, metabolically damaged, metabolically sick, keto, carnivore, as strict as you can get is probably going to be the best course of action. But I also understand that we have to look at the majority of the people who are going to be needing our help aren't going to dedicate their lives to this. They only did what they did in the beginning because the doctor said, oh, eat low fat. And then they came up with low fat products. Like, eat, a lot less meat. Okay, they made vegetarian options, and they made, salads and all these things, and they made them appetizing with marketing. It's going to take a long time and a lot of money spent on marketing to get us back to where we should be with a proper human diet on whatever end of the spectrum you find yourself thriving. So I just think it's so much nuance. And it's going to take a lot of us all working together and not arguing about the differences between carnivore and keto being the best or whatever to really make an impact. Jackie says, I haven't been to a reunion one, but John, I put chocolate caramel element half pack in my coffee. It sounds fantastic. Brenda Foley says, mine dipped under 70 a few times. The app advised me I might be dehydrated, so I increased my water. Hasn't dropped since. Oh, fantastic. I gotta have more water in here, but I don't have more water. I came unprepared. Unprepared. Oh, let's see. They make plastic. They make those plastic water bottles so small you get more plastic with every time. Yeah. And Andy says, Brenda Foley, King Charles peanut butter is the only one we buy. It's only peanuts. I'm going to go get me some water. I have never taken a break during a live, but I need to get some water. So I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to put my cam like this and I'll be right back. Entertain people. Andy, you're on to entertain everybody. You and Evelyn. I'm back. I just had to get something to drink. Very thirsty. All right. Brenda says my peanut butter was only peanuts and salt. Sandy says, morning, Justin. I'm here. I'll let that one slide. It's fine. Justin, Austin, whatever. It's fine. Evelyn said, we missed you yesterday. I wish I could have gone too. It's just difficult to get up and go 3 hours away. I would have loved to have been there. It would have been so much fun. But I hope you had fun for me. Only coconuts can be eaten raw. Raw sunflower seeds are toxic. And Carl says, most plants have more of a medicinal purpose than they do nutritional purpose. Yeah, I was talking about this with Shannon the other day. Like, I used to think that like the idea of holistic foods was very woo-woo. But I think as the more we learn, there's probably a lot more to it just because we survived for millennia that way. And Bride's Biscuit says, still trying to figure out how much mold is in coffee, seeds, and nuts, and whether I should be concerned. I don't know. How much mold have we had over the centuries? I don't know. It's such a new thing. Carl says, avoiding mold is important. Best use fresh items that have been created in small batches. Mold grows in storage. Yeah. Jackie says, Rick is our resident antagonist. He sits on the shoulder opposite the angel. Yeah, I would believe that that's probably true. And Charlie says, the part about not eating any fruits or vegetables when I explain how I eat as meat and eggs only is definitely the part most people have a hard time understanding when I talk to them. Yeah, I mean, we have been conditioned for a long time that fruits and vegetables are the epitome of health food. You know, I mean, juice your vegetables, juice your fruits, drink it. I have friends that do that right now. They're like selling fresh juice and stuff, and I'm like, that's the same as soda, but people just can't wrap their minds around it. Now, in small doses, I don't think fruit and vegetables have really any negative to most people. I don't think they're negative to most people. I mean, I don't think people really became ridiculously obese from eating oranges or a couple of grapes here and there. I don't think that that was the cause. Again, it all stems back to cheap, hyper palatable processed foods that are easy to keep in the cabinet and whip up in just a couple of minutes. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, along with fast food and, you know, how much soda, you know, full sugar soda we drink on a regular basis. I think all of that is really, really something important to keep in mind as well. But I think we in this community, we have kind of gotten away from sugar and we've gotten away from grains and we've gotten away from everything. So now we're also trying to push away from fruits and vegetables. And some people, yeah, some people are going to thrive on a meat only diet, but I don't necessarily think that that's for everyone. I think there are certain people out there who need fruits and vegetables in their diet to thrive. Like I said, I think we're all kind of a little different. I think we all have a little bit different needs. And I think that it's wonderful that we are here and we can bounce these ideas back and forth to each other. And at least a live like mine that can be open to everybody, regardless of, you know, carnivore, keto, whatever, so we can all have these conversations, because I think it's paramount that we do, because we're not going to survive if we don't. And I know Charlie right now is full carnivore, no fruits, no veggies, but it doesn't mean he's going to do that forever. And I mean, he doesn't even know if he's going to do that forever. I mean, he probably has an idea that that's what he's going to do forever, but we don't know at the end of the day. Like when I started doing keto, I didn't think I was going to go like meat only primarily, but here we are. I don't eat a lot of vegetables. I don't eat a lot of fruit. I'm not going to say that I'm never going to eat that again. I'm not going to say that I am totally against it or that I don't think that it's poison for us, because I don't necessarily think that it is. I think the things that are grown, that are fruits and vegetables are grown in, is most likely poison. But I don't think fruits and vegetables in of themselves is poison. And I've even heard different things like the fact that there's so many people with celiac out there that they're blaming the gluten as a whole. But I don't necessarily think that it's necessarily the gluten that people are fully, you know, fully allergic to. I mean, there's glyphosate and all these things that we put in the soil and that we put on the things when we grow them, and all these things to make them grow and last and stay, you know, okay in storage before they can make them into the Fruit Loops or whatever, make them into bread or whatever. All these things, preservatives that all get sprayed on all of our foods, are most likely the culprit causing us all these problems. I mean, I don't think there was people in the 17th century dealing with celiac or with ulcerative colitis or Crohn's. Maybe, might have been, maybe a couple. Maybe, I can't say that it's 100% out of the question, but I imagine there was a lot less. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of things that we overlook. I mean, we've got a lot to learn. We In the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're going to learn so much more than we ever imagined. And I'm here for it, because I think we need to learn all this, and hopefully in this age of the internet and with, you know, and artificial intelligence, hopefully all this knowledge is retained this time, so if something happens to us in the future, the people who come after us will have an understanding of what we did to ourselves, what we did to try to get out of it, what worked and what didn't. And I hope that that is something that we can hopefully save, because I think, you know, we are as humans very, very, very short memoried, very, very goldfish like, if you will. And I know some people will argue that goldfish have a good memory, but it's what it is. Granny Boo 2 is in the house. Thank you for being here, Granny Boo 2. I think this might be the first time you've been here, at least that I'm aware of. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. And Bride's Biscuit says, I was allergy tested and have mold sensitivity. I'm avoiding nuts and seeds for now until I can find a source or storage technique that mitigates this. Freezing them, right? That would mitigate, that won't let mold grow, right? But we only have so much freezer space. Sandy says, I didn't know Granny Boo was Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Well, hello, Bonnie. Welcome. Welcome to the chat, Bonnie. I appreciate you being here. New people, I love it. Oh my God. Talk about being on blast. Oh, let's see. He said, and he said, okay, Evelyn, he said, we're in charge. What can we do to really make this place jump? Did you guys play music or what happened? What, I mean, I don't know. Jerry said, oh no, Dustin, come back. Jerry sounds like a rose in Titanic. No. Wins and struggles this week. Yes, I want to know. I want to know. Everybody in the house, jump, jump, jump. Wiggle and shake your rump. Oh, darn. He's back. Baby, come back. Oh, my goodness. When the cat's away, Jerry will play. I have to go to Costco today. I'm out of waters. I'm out of waters. Usually, whenever I go to Costco, I usually buy 2 40-packs. That's why not all the time, not every time, but I mean, it's not bad to have some extra waters. It's easier to bring them around. And this is something that I was questioning too, Brian. So Brian's asking, do we really know what is on the labels are the truth? Because Victor over at Southern Keto posted something the other day about the differences between like peanut butter cups like 40 years ago and peanut butter cups now. And I said, I mean, it's easier to look at something from back then and go, it was less ingredients, but also the ingredient requirements on packaging was a lot different back then. Were they doing the same thing then, but just not required to tell us? That's like how we hear people like, well, Walter Cronkite told us the news as it was. Well, did he though? How do we know? We had like 2 channels that told us the news. You had NBC and you had ABC or whatever, right? CBS and NBC or whatever, right? You had like Walter Cronkite and the other guy. How do we know that they weren't spinning it even back then? I mean, they had to because they had to keep a nation from spiraling out of control. So they were controlling the news just like they do now. We just didn't realize it. And then we look back with rose-colored glasses and go, well, I want my news like it was back then. Well, they lied to us back then. I'm almost guarantee it. But, so that's, I kind of wonder with nutrition labels and before they had to put nutrition facts, even now the nutrition facts don't have to tell us the whole truth. They can still be 20% off. And I mean, the 20% off is kind of understandable to a degree because, I mean, are you going to know if they aren't? I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot of nuance. Yeah, Rick says cooking and fermenting have been used for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. I mean, it wasn't until we found heat and figured out cooking food that we really start to take off as a species. And he says, I can tell that I'm feeling a lot better today than yesterday. I had the shingles vaccine and it knocked me for a loop for over 24 hours. Feeling better today. Thank God I was on the couch all day. Yeah. And Susan's an amazing lady for helping to take care of you. And I hope she can hear me and tell her that I love her too. But I hope I'm really glad you are feeling better. Rick says, you always need an antagonist to keep people grounded. I'm a grown up. I don't need anybody grounding me, okay? I don't want to be grounded. I want to do what I want to do, okay? If I want to watch cartoons, I'll watch cartoons. Jerry said, Aaron, after seeing your last 2 videos, I thought, can I love this girl anymore? Aaron is pretty awesome, isn't she? We're all pretty awesome. Oh, Amy says, listening but still in bed. If only I could go live from my bedroom. That would be so nice. And I'd be like talking and then fall asleep. Jerry says, to answer your question, Aaron, yes, you can. Yes, you can't have friends in social media. Not a lot of peeps who I can say resonate with me, but my first impressions are strong. Okay. Which is kind of a strange idea. And I don't necessarily know the context of this, but like I kind of feel like a lot of you, like I have a better connection with some of you than I do people that I've known for 20 years. So, I mean, it's all relative, I suppose. Um, And it says, right now, I don't eat any fruits or veggies. I'm still struggling with weight loss. Change my thyroid meds and we'll see how that goes. Consistent progress is my motto. Trust the process. Ugh, I understand. Tanya's in the house. Just woke up. Ding, dang, dang it, darn it, whatever she says. Well, welcome, Tanya. Kitchen witch is in the house. Oh, let's see. Amy says, even the bad meat or even meat has bad chemical exposure. They eat grains sprayed with glyphosate. Yeah, it's just, ugh, I don't know. Jackie says, you picked up a lot of us from Rick's channel when you did a live with him last week. Oh, okay, fantastic. I love that. I love Rick. It's just, I just like gotta pick on him a little bit. Jeff is in the house. Good morning, Jeff. I'm glad you're here, my friend, Mr. Foltz. Andy says, I tried it for 3 months with no results. That's why I'm checking my thyroid. Andy said, Susan is the best. I'm glad she's my partner in life. We take care of each other for the past 16 years. I'm glad too. You guys are awesome. Give each other a hug for me. I mean, that's like a normal day, but whatever. So I want to talk about something else so the other day, the other night I went to the grocery to pick up some, we needed heavy cream and we needed some other stuff for the house. And I'm walking around looking at all these things. Like, I don't know if you've had these nights where you're walking around the grocery store and you're wanting to get something you shouldn't have. And you walk around and you look and you look and you look and nothing looks right. Nothing looks good. Even when you find something you think, well, maybe this will be something that I can get. You look at it, you read the label and you think about it and you're like, do I really want to feel bad for 2 days? Do I really want to be on the toilet for 2 days? Do I really want to feel bad? Do I want to have to go through this all over again? And sometimes, surprisingly, the answer is sure. And you put it in the cart. At least that's been my thing. Sometimes, it just the bad thing wins. Luckily, this time it didn't win. Nothing won. I didn't put anything in the cart. I did get some lunch meat. I got some turkey lunch meat, and I know I'm not a big turkey fan, but sometimes turkey lunch meat just hits right, and I'll just it's good. And they've had the hot dogs on sale, or however they call it, rollback at Walmart. But they've had their hot dogs for $2.50 a pound. Even the cheese-filled ones, and theirs are terrible, but I still like those, and it's kind of a treat for me. I feel like I'm getting something, even though I'm really just eating a hot dog. And so I got some of those, and I've been drinking water and coffee, and I've been drinking. I'm still missing grape, and I can't find grape soda anywhere. And I know that I can probably find some Zevia somewhere, but I don't like Zevia. I just think that just the stevia that they use just tastes bad to me. I've tried all the different flavors, and none of them taste right. So I just been having coffee, water, electrolytes, and sometimes I struggle. And I want to get things that I shouldn't have, and I'll walk around the grocery store and look at 100 different things, and I will not put any of them in the cart. So maybe that's a kind of a thing too. You just walk around and look at it. It's like window shopping, but I don't know how do you guys do that? Is that something you guys will do? Just walk around and look at things you shouldn't have? You know? And it's like when those urges hit, you can either spiral or you can ground yourself and rational thinking, and but I want to know what are your close calls? Like, do you guys have that when you're grocery shopping? 'Cause I mean, I do 99% of the grocery shopping for this house for Chandra, the girl, and myself. The boys do their own, but I was looking and this is a kind of an interesting thing. I was walking through the ice cream aisle and I was looking at the zero sugar added ice cream sandwiches. And I was just looking at the carb count. The carb count's 24 grams of total carbs. Now, I imagine there's some sugar alcohols in there. So if you play the net card game, you might be able to get it down a little bit, but not a whole lot, I imagine. But if you look at total carbs, the zero added sugar, 24 grams. The regular ones are 25 grams. And I imagine the sugar alcohols are probably going to give you some kind of, you know, undesirable, gastric response that kind of ruins your night, so to speak. So really, like if you're going to do it, are you going to do, all right, what would you do? And I know a lot of you will say you wouldn't pick either, but I mean, realistically, if you're looking at it, what makes the most sense? Gastric distress for one less carb? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's kind of how I look at things like Catalina Crunch cookies, because we know that I'm going to eat the whole box. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I'm real. I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this stuff because I know if I buy a box of Catalina Crunch cookies, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat the entire box, regardless if there's 2 cookies in a serving, 8 servings, or 16 cookies in a box. I'm going to eat all those cookies. But then I'm going to have ridiculous gastric consequences that I may not get if I eat the Oreos. Now, there's probably is a major difference between those and the total carbs between the Catalina Crunch and the Oreos, but the gastric response is going to be a lot different. And I kind of wonder, and I know we talk about this every once in a while, what's worth it? Is eating something that's on paper better for us? Is it better over the original counterpart just because of what it says on paper? And I know we do our best to avoid all of it, but when it comes down to it at the end of the day, and I've said this before, like when it comes to like Catalina Crunch cookies, I'm more likely to overlook that and keep them in the house. Say if they're on sale, they're normally like $7 a box. So $7 for 16 cookies, or for $7, I can probably get 2 whole packages of Oreos. But I'm not likely to keep 2 packages of Oreos in the house. So, I mean, it is kind of a mind game. It is kind of that, especially when you've been doing it as long as I have. I'm not new to this. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. And obviously, the beginning, when we first started, there wasn't anything. You couldn't go to the grocery and buy cookies or breads or any of that stuff. Like, I remember when Aldi came out with their first keto bread, I had to go to Chicago. A friend of mine had bought me a loaf in Chicago, and I was in Chicago and she gave me the loaf because Aldi down here didn't carry it yet. And they didn't carry it for like another year and a half. And even still now they do carry it on a regular basis, but they'll still kind of come and go with keto branded products. But what's your take on that? Is it better to eat the keto branded junk food that's going to cause most likely some kind of gastric distress, or a similar glucose response to the non-keto version? I'm just curious. What are your thoughts on that? But you know what I mean? And these are things that I think about when I'm walking through the grocery store, whether I buy them or not. I mean, like there's Quest chips, there's those new legendary chips that Joe and Rachel are talking about. I think I didn't watch the review, but I think they liked them. And I think they thought that they were relatively pretty clean for what they are. But at the end of the day, is Doritos better? I don't know. Like, I mean, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I mean, this is a legitimate question that I'm asking, because if we talk so bad about the keto branded products not being what they say they are, what's better, the keto branded products or the original products they're trying to mimic? And I think, it's very important to ask these kinds of questions, because we have to know what we're talking about when people ask us, because people are going to find these keto products and they're going to utilize them as a crutch. as we have in the last couple of years as well. We would buy these things. We have who knows 80, 90 different reviews of products on our channel that you can go back. I need to go back in and make a playlist of all of those. I didn't think about that back when, and I'm surprised I don't have a playlist, but I'll probably try to work on that today sometime, make a playlist of all of our reviews. Um, but yeah, I just kind of want to know what your thoughts and your takes are on that. But and then like staying strong at home, like it is an extra challenge. And we've talked about this, but it's a continuing battle for me. It's a continuing thing. Like I said, our son came home last night or yesterday from the store and brought a box of ice cream sandwiches and put them in the freezer in the house. And so I know that they're there, and I love ice cream sandwiches. I mean, I also love not being in pain and heartburny and gaining weight. So I mean, all those are, obviously things that help me battle that, but they're still there and I still know it. And we've talked with him about it, but I can't tell him as a 21-year-old person to not buy what he wants to buy with his own money. And they're living here just for a short time, just so they can get ready to move out into an apartment because apartments are so expensive right now. And two boys together is a lot of money. So, the extra challenge of living with family and roommates who keep, off plan foods in the house. I mean, like, and I imagine some of you have spouses that do the same thing, spouses or kids or whatever whatever the case may be. What are some of your tips for staying steadfast, keeping your why visible, prepare your own comfort foods, that type of thing, you know? I'm just kind of curious as to, what that looks like for you, because that is so very valuable and important, the information that we share with each other, because we're all in this in some way, shape, or form. We're all similar. We all have similar struggles. We all have, we're all looking for the same win. We're all trying to lose a little bit of weight. We're trying to get our health in order. We're trying to make this daily lifestyle consistent and seamless, and I think the only way we do that is by getting together every Sunday, every Tuesday, talking about it. It's almost, it's very therapeutic for me, especially. But you know, now I am trying to get myself together because I know Charlie is waiting for an answer from me because he's going to be at Low Carb for Better Health in September. I am planning to be there. I just have to make sure I can afford to buy a ticket before they sell out. I think it's like almost $200 for a ticket. I have to drive myself down there. But I'm really excited. I really want to go down there for that. And I also want to go down for the Q&A that they're doing in August. Um, so let me know how you guys are feeling about that, what you guys got going on. I got to figure a way to pay for going to Low Carb for Better Health. Oh my goodness, so much to pay for in so little time, and I don't even know how I'm going to be able to pay for the Dr. Barry Proper Human Diet course that I want to take. So little, so many things, and so little money. But anyway, let's see. People are talking in the chats here. Yes, please hit that like button. I love it. Give me all the likes and the loves. And Becky is here. Usually make my grocery list in advance, otherwise I get distracted. That's the issue. I mean, I'm usually buying very specific things when I go to the store, so I don't ever have to make a list. I know I need burger patties. I know I need heavy cream. I know I need whatever. Especially depending if I'm going to Costco. I know I need ham. I know I need chuck roll or whatever. You know what I mean? I need to buy those things. I'm usually able to keep pretty steady, pretty steadfast on all that stuff. Jeff Foltz says turkey lunch meat with bacon and butter, mayo. Yummy. That sounds good. I mean, I'm not a mayo fan, but I don't know. I just sometimes lunch meat just hits the spot. I know it's a texture issue too. I know it's a texture issue for me. Sometimes I just need it. Just a matter and just taste what I need what I taste. Jerry said I used Chris Cook of Nashville's mayo and spicy pluck to make egg salad zipper. And Jackie says, I choose natural ingredients over chemicals when I slip. And I think even that's like easier said than done. Like, I mean, it's really difficult because I think even when a lot of the keto branded stuff is not necessarily natural, it's just a bunch of fibers and things put together to give you the idea of it is what it is, but it's not. Then it impacts me pretty badly. So I don't know. Becky's in the house. Jackie says, except for the McDonald's I had last night, I stress ate because of the ceilings in the new house. Okay. It is strange, though. It's strange what triggers us, right? And you would never think that like ceilings in the new house would cause you to go to McDonald's and get a double quarter pounder with cheese or chicken nuggets or a shake or whatever. And another thing that, you know, something that happens to us is we have a new McDonald's that opened like 2 blocks around the corner. Like right at the edge of our neighborhood, there's a new McDonald's. So whether I'm coming or going, I pass the McDonald's. Luckily for me, they serve Coke Zero, so I will stop in sometimes and just get a Coke Zero. Just because it's delicious and it's one of those things. I still get the feeling that I've been to McDonald's. I still get the feeling that I got something special, and it's just Coke Zero. It's just some soda. Jerry says, I do the occasional slip up with a pickle. I don't consider that cheating. Now, I understand that some people do, but like I had a pickle. Ooh, I don't know. Like to me, like I slipped up and ate a package of Oreos. You know, like around my birthday, I went and got a package of Oreos and Sharon and I split them. But to me, like a carnivore is like sometimes they'll have a pickle. Ooh, and there's gonna be carnivores going, oh, how dare you? And I'm like, really? Come on. Like yesterday, I made hamburger patties. I made 3 third-pound beef patties, and I sent pictures to Andy. But I put mustard and dill relish on it. So basically, pickles and mustard. Was delicious. Had I had some cheap Kraft cheese, it would have tasted just like McDonald's or whatever, right? Sometimes I think even like the cheap, crappy Kraft singles help go a long way to kind of mitigate that flavor that you're looking for, that texture you're looking for, you know? And Jackie said that the paint made the acoustic fall off, so I had to scrape it off in 3 rooms. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Carl says, personally, I would rather eat something filled with sugar than something filled with high fiber and low sugar that gives me gastric distress. Yeah, and I think that that's a question. I think because I know that there's a lot of us out there who have these desires, who have these feelings, who really do struggle with all of this. Whether it's the people in this chat or people who may watch this later, these are questions that are valuable because it may not be necessarily pertaining to you, but and I'm not talking to you specifically, Carl, but I mean just people as a whole who watch, who are in this community who, struggle with these things. And I mean, realistically, it's sad to me that a company like Catalina Crunch or whatever High Key or whatever, they're going to charge this absorbent amount for like High Key will give you like 10 cookies for $5, or for $5 you can get an entire package of Oreos. And it's a toss up of which one's cleaner, which one's better for you. Or if I mean, we know that neither one are good for us, but it's like and I've started to have that idea like, is it better for me to go and have all these things that are just gonna make me feel even worse? Like I know Chandra sometimes she likes the Russell Stover chocolates. I don't, because I'll have a single nibble and I'll be on the throne all night long. I don't want that. It's not that don't like I had a single bite of one of her chocolate toffees. And then yeah, was it taste good? Yeah, it was fine. But it was that single nibble wasn't worth what it did to my backside. It was awful. It was devastating. You don't want that. So, these are kind of the questions that I kind of think that, you know, and Evelyn says that when I walk by disaster pants causing items in the grocery store, I tell myself I can make better and cleaner at home. And I would be more likely to buy an actual Hershey bar than the sugar free Hershey stuff. Because I think realistically, you're going to get the same sugar spike over a longer period of time mixed with gastric devastation with the zero sugar stuff than you would with just a regular Hershey bar. So, I mean, now does that mean you should have neither? Probably so. But I mean, we're talking about the really real world. We're talking about real people, real struggles, real circumstances. And not everybody has the wherewithal to be consistent 100% of the time because none of us are perfect. And I think that's so valuable to truly talk about and to open up to. I'm not perfect. I struggle at just being 95% consistent. I know I feel better without keto breads, and I feel better without keto junk and without real stuff, without chips in my life or whatever it is. Like the last week we went to, we talked on Tuesday. We had gone to the zoo and we had gotten the granddaughter a breakfast bagel, and she had a couple bites out of it as a kid will do. I ate the rest of it because I didn't. It's hard for me to throw it away. Same thing with a hot dog later in the afternoon. And it was one of the worst hot dogs I ever had in my life. I'm like, how could a hot dog be so bad? Like, it made me long for crappy gas station hot dogs. And it was $5. Ridiculous for a $5 hot dog to be that bad. Jerry says, shoot, we don't even have a Whole Foods in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I have to travel to Twin Cities. So that how far are you up in Wisconsin? You're closer to Minnesota than you are anywhere else, Jerry? Because I know there's a Whole Foods near where like my sister-in-law lives. I think there's like all that stuff near because she's much closer to Milwaukee. So yeah, I thought you were more central. I don't know, southern Wisconsin. Platte River Keto, my friend Scott's in the house. Good morning, friends. How are you doing? How are you doing? Glad to see you. Let's see. Jerry is asking who is going to Carry Man's meetup in Wisconsin on July 26th. I don't think I'm going. I think I had something else July 26th, but I can't remember what it was. So I'll look at my calendar and see if there's something in there. I don't know. I don't think I have anything on that day. I don't know, but I don't think I'm going to be able to go to that. I don't know how far it is. Where is it? Where is Carry Man's Wisconsin meetup? And I doubt they're even putting it on lowcarbevents.com, which drives me nuts. I could be wrong. Let me double check. Yeah, July 31st to August 1st or August 3rd is Champion for Health. Low Carb San Diego, Impact Meetup, Eat Up, the Carnivore, Grandma and Friends, on August 30th. I won't be going to that because that's my granddaughter's birthday. Carb Sober Cruises, Low Carb for Better Health, Friday, September 12th, and Saturday the 13th. And there's a Central Florida meetup in November. Why doesn't Carrie and all them put things up on Low Carb for Better Health? Do they not know about it? Does Carrie Mann and them know about Low Carb for Better Health? Because I think they might get better turnouts if they put it in a place where people know to look. Maybe they don't care because maybe they think that low carb isn't good enough, but it's not carnivore for better health or whatever. But I think it's a good place to put events, and I think they should put it there so I can find it easier. Let's see. Healing Humanity. July 26th. Healing Humanity meetup at world famous Montello Theater in Montello, Wisconsin. Let's see. How far is that from me? That's a 5.5 hour drive. That's far. That's not even all that. That's like way closer to Minnesota than I thought. That's far. I'd have to drive. That's 5.5 hours. I've never been that far north. Yeah, pretty far. Pretty far. So I don't think I'll be going to that. I'd have to stay with my sister-in-law on the way back in Milwaukee. Then I definitely wouldn't be able to do the Sunday morning live the next day. Andy says, my new vibration plate showed up yesterday. I gifted my other one to a sick friend who will need it to help her with her toxic overload in her body. Well, that's awesome. Bob at Carnivore Talk says that he still consumes artificially sweetened beverages. Yeah. I still have, you know, electrolytes with stevia in it, or sometimes I'll get things that have sucralose and ACE K in it and aspartame sometimes. I don't have nearly as much as I used to. I used to drink sodas all day, every day. But for the first, when I first started doing keto, I didn't drink diet soda. I didn't like the taste. And then one day when I went to have keto pizza, this new restaurant that opened up, well, they didn't open up, but they had been in a restaurant in my area for a long time. They started to carry keto pizza with fathead crust. I went in for a meetup. This is before I ever started doing YouTube. I was just doing posting stuff on Instagram. And I went in there and I got a Diet Pepsi. And I had to ask if it was really a Diet Pepsi because it didn't taste diet to me. And that means that my taste buds had shifted to where it didn't taste diety to me, which is probably a bad thing. Because then, I started drinking soda more regularly then. But thank you, Bob, for that. Vincent's in the house. Welcome, Vincent. Thank you. I'm not sure if you've been here before, but thank you so much. When I fall to temptation, and sometimes I'll do a fast. Yeah, I think that's something that I've done before as well. And Brian Spitz said, don't fall for fiber myth. If you have irritable bowel, IBS, colitis, Crohn's, etc. Yeah, for sure. And Jerry says, pickle. Oh, my goodness. And Brian's business says, I'm a pickles and mustard carnivore, full stop. Yeah, and I don't think that there's any kind of thing. And I think even the word cheat is kind of a misnomer. Like, Dr. Barry says, I cheat with carnivore. I cheat with keto. If I'm going to cheat on carnivore, I do it with keto. That's not a cheat. It's not. And Bob says, if I'm going to cheat with a single ingredient, whole food, keto friendly veg, piece of fruit, but absolutely no grains or refined sugar. Yeah. And and that's totally, your call, but I still don't think it's a cheat to eat whole foods. You know what I mean? That's like, and I wonder, like, with the whole idea in the beginning of this episode where I started talking about carnivore as an identity, keto as an identity, how much does that play a part in our life? I understand that, that's, a goal of ours and a lifestyle that we live, but how much does that become a part of our identity? And I kind of wonder that whole idea of cheating, and I know you've got it in quotations. Excuse me. But it's just questions. I mean, these are things that I think a lot of people need to know because I don't think a lot of the community has it all worked out. But I think cheating, like, I look at it as I'm an adult. I'm 46 years old. I'm a step parent. I have a grandchild. I eat how I choose to eat to better my health. But that also means that I am responsible for the things that I eat that are not beneficial to my health. And I have to realize that those decisions are mine and mine alone to make. And sometimes I make those decisions rashly. Sometimes I make those decisions along with the spouse. I'm thinking, like, "Ah, I want something, but I don't know what I want." And she'll be like, "Do you want to get Thai food?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And we do it together. Sometimes she'll have something like our daughter went to a restaurant last week or whatever it was and got Chandler some cannolis. They were in the fridge and I seen the box and I was like trying to clean out the fridge and I saw there were cannolis. So I told Chandler about it and she was like, "Are these yours?" She goes, "I don't know." Because we didn't go and buy them. And I messaged our daughter and I was like, "Hey, did you get these for mom?" She goes, "Yeah." So I took them up to her. She's like, "Do you want one?" I'm like, "I don't really like cannolis. It's not my thing." So I was like, "You have them, you enjoy them." That's a conscious effort that we make. And I think calling it a cheat or calling it whatever we want to call it takes away from the fact that we are masters of our own life. We make decisions day in and day out, not always in our own best interest, but usually we make these decisions that are best for us. And I'd like to think that we do it more often than not, but I mean that we make daily decisions that are best for us. Sometimes not so much. No, I mean, we're not perfect beings. Because if I was perfect, then I would be totally fine with burgers and eggs and bacon and water. But sometimes I need some flavoring in my water. Sometimes I want diet soda. I don't like regular soda and I refuse to drink regular soda because it makes me feel funny. It does, like, the back of my throat feels weird. I don't like it. Diet soda is just fine. Now, when it comes to other foods, I would rather have the real thing anymore. If I'm going to go out and I'm going to pay the consequences, I would rather it be, you know, elevated blood glucose and an insulin spike for a couple of hours versus that and pooping myself. Does that make sense? But I mean, these are decisions that I have to make, and I have to make these decisions with the information that I have at hand. So it is. I mean, I think that that's what we have to get to, and I have to know me, and these are decisions that I make, and the consequences that I live with. But most of the time, I like to think that I make the best decisions, and I don't eat the poor, bad food that I don't want to eat. Does that mean I don't want to eat Kraft mac and cheese? Sure, it does. I do want to eat that stuff. I love all that cheap processed food. It's ingrained in my life. It has been my entire life. And I think that's been, for a lot of us, it's been that way. Maybe not Rick, but a lot of us, it's been there. It's just part of who we are. Candy, cookies, cakes. I live without those most of the time. But then again, like I said, we have our kids who live here and they're like 10-year-olds who won the lottery. They go to the grocery and they come back with cases of soda and boxes of ice cream and taquitos and quesadillas and all these frozen things that they're so good. Are they bad for us? 1000%. But are they in the fridge and they're taunting me? Yes, they are. I can't open the fridge usually during the week and there not be a bag from Wendy's or McDonald's. Now, our kids know better. They see the way that we live. They see the way that we eat. They see the way that, and they see the way that we are. And they know from when I was big and all the issues that I had. And they understand that. But at this point, they're not ready to make the commitment to themselves to eat better. And hopefully they do it before they see the negative consequences like I had to. Let's hope. Let's hope that our kids do better than us. in the long run, right? And Jerry says, a lot of people don't know that I lost 163 pounds twice. So for me, I can't do the definition of insanity. And at my age gains another, if at my age gain another 163 pounds, I would die. And that's just me. Yeah, I understand that. And I'm not putting anybody down for what they do. And I mean, I've got down to like my lowest was 273 pounds, starting at over 420 some pounds. I don't know how big I ever got, but I know that the biggest I ever saw on the scale was 421 pounds in 2016. I imagine I was bigger probably at some point, but at that point I started to lose weight. I decided to do something that minute we decided to do something, and within a month I'd lost 10 pounds just doing what we thought low carb was. Not anything nowhere near keto, nowhere near carnivore, just what we thought low carb was. Sad thing was, it was still like 150 grams of total carbs a day, but we were probably eating an insane amount of carbohydrates. You figure that how much carbohydrates in some things, like for me, let me look up something real quick. I want to look this up. Like a single box of macro, like Kraft mac and cheese would be a serving to me. I know it's like 3 or 4 servings, but it was a serving to me. So you look at Kraft mac and cheese, the standard box. So I guess they say serving size is 2.5 ounces or 2.5. So 3 servings per container. So there's 49 grams of carbohydrates in a serving. So 100, so basically 115 or 150 grams of carbohydrates for a box, as prepared using skim milk. But 150 grams of carbohydrates in one bowl. And you figure that was not the only thing I ate that day. So it's definitely something to keep into consideration how much carbs I was eating back then. It wouldn't be surprising if I didn't have 1,000 carb days, a day where I had 1,000 carbohydrates. Because you think, like, let me see. Let's see. Let's see, like Manchurian, like so Kroger, Manchurian or Marchian or whatever it is, just regular ramen noodles. Total carbohydrates, 26 grams per serving. There's 2 servings in a container, and I would eat 3 servings. So 52 grams of carbs. So again, 3 of those, another 150 grams of carbohydrates. So Sean's saying, anyone else thinking about Ben Stiller and Dodgeball sniffing the pizza and then smearing it all over himself? I thought he hit himself with, like, I thought he hit himself. He would do that with the donuts and all that stuff. And Platte River Keto Scott says, you really have to know yourself. Am I going to binge the whole bag of sugar-free chocolates, or am I just going to have a chocolate like I should? For me, I'm going to tear through the whole bag. That's my thing. And that's why for me, I think for me, having like the sugar-free ones that are going to rip through me and going to keep me up all night on the toilet, I would rather have the full-on sugar ones that are just going to make me feel kind of sick to my stomach, but not make me, go to the bathroom all night and be in pain. I don't want that. So, I mean, like realistically, if I'm going to make a choice, which choice am I going to make? And John says, speak for yourself, Dustin. I happen to be perfect. Well, you are a perfect person, John, and I appreciate you very much. You're perfect for this community, and we love you very much. And he says, we are over an hour away from Whole Foods, Sam's Club, Costco or a drive away as well. One of the benefits of negative living in the boonies. Yeah, you kind of have to get everything. You have to kind of get everything all ready to go and go and get what you need that day. Brenda says, "Have a great day, week. Bye for now." Well, thank you so much for being here, Brenda. You're probably already long gone and don't hear me saying this to you, but we love you. I'm glad you were here. And Bob from Carnivore Talks said Healing Humanity is meetup is the 26th. And Jackie says, I didn't know about low carb for better health. That is low carb for better health. I'll look that up in just a second. Again, I'll tell you all the information. I'll bring it up on the screen so we can talk about it. All right. So this is low carb for better health. Low carb for better health. It's $160. It's a 2-day event. Um, Amanda Decker is the organizer. It is in Montgomery Bell State Park and Inn Conference Center in Burns, Tennessee. And I'll go to the website so we can talk about who everybody's going to be there. There's 11 speakers over the 2 days. What do you mean not found? Is this not? All right, day one. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Day one, 9 to 12:30 registration, vendor open hall, conference add-ons. Let's see. 9 to 12 is a guided hike in the park. 9:30 breakout session led by Sushi B. What's in our food? She is Sushi is I think she is the lady that owns Scuzzy Sweets, the different types of foods and such. Let's see. 11 a.m. build strength and flexibility with Keto Savage. 11 a.m. PhD coaching experience. 12:30 opening remarks. 1 p.m. is Autumn Weathers. 2 p.m. Craig Emmerichs. 3 p.m. Dr. Andrea Salcido. And then 6 to 9 is the VIP dinner. Day 2, 8 to 9 pre-conference session, PhD coaches, open Q&A. And then 9:30, Tracy Macbeth. 10:30 is Dr. Mark Cucuzella. 11:30, Robert Sykes, Keto Savage. And then there's a 12:30 to 2 lunch. And then 2 is Dr. David Diamond. 3 p.m. is Dr. Philip Oliveda. And then we have 4 p.m. Dr. Ken and Nisha Berry. So yeah, I would really like to go to that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. What about you guys? Holly Springer's in the house. Good morning, Holly. Thank you for being here, my friend. Let's see. Bob's going to the Columbus, Ohio one in August. I might have to look and see when that is. I don't know. There's so many that come up, but just almost impossible. Jackie says veterans are free. I don't know if I saw that or not. Did you see that somewhere? I didn't see anything about veterans being free, but then again, I don't know. Oh, we're talking about the meetup. Okay. Jackie says, Reeler, that's Carrie and Jessica's theater. Makes sense now. Jerry said, God bless you, Dustin. I don't know what. Oh, because I sneezed. Okay. I was like, I don't know. What did I do? And Stacy says, I consider it a cheat for the guidelines that each of our set for ourselves. I choose not to eat certain things. Maybe a cheat isn't the right word, but to me, it's just a failure. I mean, it's just maybe a lack of judgment at the time, maybe an oversight, maybe just a moment of weakness. But I think, we have to learn and be accountable for everything that we do, right? Evelyn says, I accidentally deleted a message from Bride's Biscuit. Bride's Biscuits, I'm a pickles and mustard carnivore, full stop. Okay, that's fine. She didn't mean to delete it. That's okay. Yeah, did I say scuzzy sweets? Yeah, scrummy sweets. Okay. I can't remember everything, Evelyn, okay? I am not a perfect person, and that's okay. And Brian says, anyone to come over and help paint doors? I do not. I do not want to do that. I do not want to do that with pears or near a bear or anything like that. But I want to thank you all for being here this morning. Coming up on just a little under 2 hours. Oh, I got burnt on Friday. We went to the pool. I don't think you can tell very much by this lighting, but I got some sun. It's kind of worn off a little bit, but I was really red for like yesterday. I took a long nap yesterday because I needed it. I was kind of burnt and sore, you know. And Bryce Biscuit says, don't be dissing my vinegary plant snacks. I love pickles. I love the really, really thin ones, like all that stuff. I love it. Tony Jacob says, good morning, Dustin. Hope all is well. Brother, thank you for doing this show. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you so much, Tony. Truly appreciate you. I really appreciate all of you that come by and talk and hang out with me and make this show something that I get a lot out of too. So it's not just me sitting and rambling, but I get a lot out of you guys talking to me and being here with me and holding me accountable. And it's definite two-way street. But I appreciate all of you very much. Mm. My back is a little itchy today, though, just from the burn. The funny thing last night is we went to bed relatively early last night, probably about 10 o'clock. We go to bed, and I'm asleep for what seems like hours and hours and hours. I felt like I was asleep for 5 or 6 hours. I woke up in the middle of the night to go potty. I get up and I look at I look up and I look at my clock and it's 11:30. I'm like, what? And it felt like I had slept all night. I really felt like I'd slept all night. It felt like I slept so good. And Brian's Biscuit says that let's see, Grillo makes some awesome pickles with fresh herbs like dill and chunks of garlic. That sounds really good. I'm a fan for the super super cheap hamburger fast food dills you can get at Kroger. They're really really thin. They remind me of like going to like White Castle because I'll throw a bunch of those on my burgers with some cheese and some mustard, eat it with a spoon. Oh, so good. Carl says Scuzzy is a good name since it makes my blood sugar shoot up and gives me disaster pants. Okay. I don't know. I only had I bought 2 bags And then I bought a bottle of their syrup, but the girl, I bought it for our granddaughter. She doesn't like it. So it just sits in the cabinet. And Jackie says, let's see. See, if you were a carnivore, you wouldn't get sunburnt. I think that that's probably less true than we think. I mean, the idea that the sun is going to burn us is probably, I understand. I get less burn and I heal faster being more carnivore keto than I was before. But I mean, you spend an hour and a half, 2 hours in direct sunlight, I think you're going to get a sunburn regardless. Yeah, Bridesmaid just says yes. White Castle ultra thin dill slices. Yeah, they're so good. They just add so much to it. Like, and that's why I like relish too. Even though like I like relish because then it kind of gives me that kind of just good. Sometimes pickles, sometimes relish. It's just so good. But you got to find the dill relish with no sugar in it. Jackie says, I saw on the Healing Humanities website a picture of the marquee and it says meetup and vets free. Okay, awesome. Well, I hope that that's true. I don't see me driving 5.5 hours for that. But I mean, 6 hours to go to 6 hours to go down to Tennessee for help, but that's like a 2-day event. And yeah, that's probably more like it. Bryce says carnivore 9 months, and I can confirm the 4th of July I got crispy. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get burned if you're out there long enough. I mean, it may take a little bit longer, but I mean, it may not burn and blister, but you still get burnt. You're still, I mean, yeah. Jackie says I was strict last summer and couldn't get a tan. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I want to say thank you all so much for being here. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And I think I'm going to call it early today, or 2 hours. I'm going to finish my coffee, relax a little bit. Got some stuff to do today. Eventually, I got to run to Costco and get a couple cases of water, hang out. I've been watching Landman, and that's a good show if you haven't watched it. It's another what Tyler Sheridan show. He did Yellowstone and 1883 and 1923 or whatever, all those shows. And he did Tulsa King, and he's got his hand in a lot of things. He also co-owns the 6666, the 46 ranch thing that you could find like spices, and that was like a big part of the Yellowstone show as well. So yeah. And Jackie says Montanel is 5 hours from you, not going either. Stacy says, I quit burning in the sun. I can stay outside working in the yard for 6+ hours. I used to get blister burns. Ugh, that's so ridiculous. Ugh, my goodness. Yes, Bob, have a fantastic Sunday. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much. And I'll see about joining you guys on Monday night if I have the opportunity. I never know what's going to happen in my house, but hopefully I'll have that. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much, Jerry, for being here. I love all of you guys. Amy, Evelyn, I love all of you. Have a great rest of your day. Everybody who was here, I love all of you. Thanks so much. And with that, we're going to say goodbye.